The morning light at Valencia didn't rise. It stabbed. Thin, sharp, metallic beams cutting straight through the pit lane fog like someone dragged a welding torch across the sky. Every garage door half open. Every engineer hunched over telemetry. Every rider pretending they weren't looking at that pit box. Pramac Yamaha, the quietest garage in MotoGP, the weakest team of 2025, the Paddock's favorite punch bag, the place where careers usually go to faint rather than fight. And then a new shadow walked in. Not light, not noise. A shadow, a silhouette that didn't belong to this universe, a shape stitched from scars, sideways physics, and a braking technique nobody understood even in Superbike, never mind MotoGP. Toprak Razgatlioglu. He didn't walk like a rookie. He didn't walk like a savior. He walked like somebody who had already buried every prediction written about him. Head low, shoulders loose, eyes calm like they'd seen death at 300 kph and told it to wait its turn. The Paddock didn't welcome him. It twitched. 2 years of rumors. 2 years of manufacturers trying to decode his style. Wondering if it was a trick of the Pirelli tires or some freak anomaly of WSBK physics. 2 years of executives calling him entertainment, journalists calling him wild, and engineers calling him too unorthodox. But the truth hit the pit lane like a punch. He didn't come here to adapt. He came here to invade. World SBK champion 3 times, 78 wins, a braking zone that looked like sorcery, a corner entry that defied Michelin geometry, and an attitude that made even V4 engines feel insecure. Still, the Paddock's ego refused acceptance. That style won't work here. He'll fold in MotoGP. No one survives carbon brakes. Michelin won't forgive him. V4 Yamaha is a lost project. They whispered all of this while watching him exist, quietly, motionless, like someone who had already heard every insult and filed them under victims. Because that's the part they don't understand. Toprak doesn't absorb disrespect. He charges interest. Then something stranger happened. The first crack in the narrative. Toprak rolled out of the box at Valencia. Patchy track, half dry, half dead. No confidence lines, no grip language, no time to learn anything. And still, he finished the day ahead of Jack Miller, ahead of Alex Rins, ahead of the Yamaha riders who have thousands of Michelin laps in their bloodstream. First day, first session, first shockwave. Michelin tires were supposed to be the monster that eats Toprak alive. Instead, they simply flinched. The Paddock pretended it didn't happen. Of course they did. Ego is a religion here. But every factory boss felt it. Every rider heard it in their radios. Every journalist wrote the headline, deleted it, then saved it in drafts. What if this guy is real? Toprak didn't celebrate. He never celebrates tests. He doesn't even smile after winning unless he's annoyed. And Pramac? They had no idea the grenade they'd just pulled the pin from. Because this wasn't a rookie joining MotoGP. This was the beginning of a new natural disaster, a blueprint of brutality that only Marc Márquez ever mastered. But now there was another monster at the border, and the Paddock pretended they weren't scared. Question of the scene: was this the day MotoGP realized they had invited a weapon they cannot control? Comment your first reaction. The ego, the denial, and the mistake of the decade. The Paddock talks about talent like it's a language only insiders can speak. They say MotoGP experience matters. They say Michelin requires years. They say Superbike style collapses here. They say riders need patience, structure, discipline. And then Toprak walks in, and the entire dictionary becomes worthless. Because every lap he rides, the sport feels like it has to defend itself from being rewritten. But instead of accepting the truth, the Paddock does what the Paddock always does. It panics behind a mask of arrogance. Carlo Pernat said it loud. He cannot understand why Yamaha brought Toprak in 2026. Why debut him in the final year before the 850cc change? Why expose him to Michelin now only for Pirelli to return in 2027? Why let him learn lessons he might never need? But that's the problem. Nobody brought Toprak here for comfort. Nobody asked him to be safe. Nobody aligned the planets for him. Toprak isn't here to settle. He's here to interfere. Pramac signed him as if they were trying to fill a seat. Yamaha signed him as if they just needed a representative for the V4 debut. But what they actually did? They opened the gates of MotoGP to the most brutal, unfiltered, corner-carving force since Marc Márquez turned 2013 into a demolition ceremony. Pramac has a history, a dangerous one. They are the team that embarrasses factories. They bring riders who outperform the main box, who cause political earthquakes. Jorge Martin did it. He humiliated Pecco Bagnaia multiple times. He nearly stole Ducati's identity. He forced Ducati into panic signing decisions that still echo today. And now, Pramac has accidentally recruited a rider who doesn't just upset factories. He ruins their oxygen supply. Toprak on a satellite Yamaha beating the factory Yamaha of Fabio Quartararo. If that happens even once, the Paddock won't be able to swallow it. Because what does that mean? What does it mean if a MotoGP rookie on the weakest bike with Michelin ghosts haunting him beats a 5-pole rider with 5 years of elite category experience? It means everything MotoGP thinks it knows is wrong. It means discipline isn't enough. Pole positions aren't enough. Factory upgrades aren't enough. Data isn't enough. It means pure, raw mechanical violence in corner entry is still the greatest currency of all. And Fabio knows it. He feels it. People think he fears Ducati in 2027. No, he fears being beaten in 2026 by his own shadow, a rider who shouldn't even be in his mirrors, let alone ahead. Imagine the embarrassment, like Martin taking the fight to Pecco on a Pramac Ducati, like the satellite outscoring the king, like the outsider rewriting the hierarchy. Now imagine that, but with Yamaha, a brand already drowning in self-doubt. The humiliation would echo for years, and the Paddock sees this coming, which is why they lie to themselves. He won't adapt. Michelin is too different. Carbon brakes will break him. V4 Yamaha is a trap. He'll finish outside the top 10. He'll fold like every superbike king before him. But the truth doesn't ask for permission. It just arrives. And Valencia already showed how fragile those lies are. Toprak didn't need a perfect bike. He didn't need a comfortable setup. He didn't need rubber that speaks the same language as Pirelli's. He just needed one afternoon, one window, one chance to show that his body understands motorcycles the way predators understand prey. And in that single session, he already broke the aura of 2 full-time Yamaha riders. Jack Miller, Alex Rins, beaten on day 1 by the rider who supposedly wouldn't survive MotoGP. And nobody in that garage wanted to talk about it. They avoided the subject like a wound they couldn't close. But Pramac knows. They know they didn't recruit a rookie. They recruited a nightmare for the entire middle class of MotoGP. Every rider from P5 to P14 just lost their sleep schedule. They all know what it means when someone enters the category not to learn it, but to bend it. And then there's the part nobody wants to say aloud. What if Toprak isn't just good? What if he's the next problem? What if he is the only rider whose natural violence can match Marc Márquez when the universe finally aligns? Pramac didn't sign a rookie. They signed a future kingmaker, a chaos engine, a breaking god, the man whose riding philosophy doesn't follow the rules. It writes new ones. And every manager in the Paddock is already preparing their exit strategy. Because if Toprak turns out to be real, then 2026 isn't a transition year. It's a reckoning. Build-up question. Did the Paddock underestimate a rookie, or did they accidentally wake up a force built to burn their hierarchy alive? Drop your verdict in the comments.